to the studio sessions. My name is Brooke, and I am extremely excited to talk about today's topic because it's one I'm really passionate about. If you've watched some of my previous episodes and videos, you probably already know I'm going to be super passionate about this. I want to talk about movie theaters. What movie is worth the trip to the theater? What ones maybe it's okay to skip seeing it in the theater and wait till you see it at home? I think that's a very interesting question to think about, especially in context of the way the state of the industry is right now, the way people are watching movies and like the trend with going to the theater. And I think it's a super interesting aspect of things to look at of like not only what movies do we personally think are interesting to go see in the movie theater, but what movies are currently pulling people to the movie theater that like you're getting people out to go in a environment where that is work and that is difficult to convince people to make that trip and decide that it's worth it. So that's what I want to talk about today. First, before we do that, please make sure to hit subscribe, hit like if you enjoy this episode and enjoy what we talk about here on the studio sessions. I truly appreciate all of that support. If you have a friend who loves movies, share this with them. It really, really does make a difference for the podcast. It really supports it. Subscribing and liking is free. So, please support if you feel so inclined and enjoy this episode or have enjoyed previous episodes. And if you subscribe, then you get the episode without even having to look for it. So it just makes it easy. It's great. Okay, so the first aspect I want to talk about this is what movies do I personally think are worth the trip to the theater and like will make sure I can make the trip to the theater for. Yes, I will always want a trip to the movie theater. Doesn't really matter what movie it is. Like if it's a movie I want to see, my preference is always going to be the movie theater for my first time watching it. I just love going to the movies. I always have, I always will. I think it's a very special and unique and important way to experience movies. So, absolutely yes. Any movie that you are ready to enjoy and want that experience, I highly, highly recommend and would advocate for getting to the theater to see it. I think it's worth it. If it's a movie you are excited for, it's worth it. However, I'm a mom of 2 young kids. Me and my husband both lead busy lives. Like our life is very busy. So, I understand time is precious. And you don't always have the opportunity, right? Like it's not something that is always going to be possible. In fact, there are a couple of movies lately that I'm not going to have an opportunity to go make it to the theater before they're out of the theater. And while I'm bummed about that, I understand, like, I prioritized the ones I really wanted, and, like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to make it. And so if an opportunity comes up, great. But I've kind of made peace with, I have to just be aware my opportunities are going to be limited, right? So that means there will be a decision we have to make for which movies do we really, really push to go see and which ones we kind of earmark for on demand or streaming. And I think that comes down to what type of experience with said movie you want. There's 2 aspects to a movie theater experience, right? The one is the community. You're seeing it with other people, you're out and about, it's a more communal way of watching a movie. And you have the whole experience side of it where like the big screen is there, right in front of you, taking up the whole space. You have the dimmed lights. My favorite movie theater has the recliner chairs, the loungers. So I love like nice lounger chairs, the big screen, the sound system, the whole shebang, right? Like it's incredible. And that's going to play best with particular types of movies that are going to take advantage of those things. So, really, what I feel like the best types of movies that you can see in a movie theater are the ones that are going to be a real experience. So, we're talking maybe adventures where the sound really makes a difference and seeing it big and, it's more epic. Horror movies are another one that's great for this because it really envelops you in the world, right? Like you're focused, you're all in. There's no distractions. There's no, like, you are in the world. And any movie that you want to be in the world of, that's when it's really great and really important to make it to the theater for it. That's when that makes a difference, in my experience. Some of the movies that this gets talked about with, you think of like summer blockbusters, right? You are seeing the big, epic, adventure, action-packed blockbusters. Another movie that I think, or another genre of movie that I think it can really add to is comedies. Because when everybody laughs around you, it's gonna make it that much more funny, right? Like hearing everybody around you laugh, that whole community experience of a comedy is really special and does add to the experience. So, I know there's multiple genres in that, right? That could pertain to and that I listed. I feel like when you're looking at a particular movie, you really want to go like, is that one where I want that more pointed, bold experience for it? Because you only get seeing a movie once. You only get that first time to experience a movie for the very first time. And so taking that opportunity can be so special. So some of the movies that I've made sure to go see are ones that it adds to it. Like horror movies for me are always fun in the theater. Always. Comedies is another one that are so much fun to be around other people and laugh along, right? I think more recently, especially with, like, we talked about the Taylor Swift movies, I think there's also been some experiences where it's like, oh, well, I don't know where else it's going to be available. So, like, making the trip to the theater now might be my least complicated way of making sure I can actually see this. Like, the Eras Tour movie, there's more experiences like those happening where it's like, oh, do I even know if it's going to be streaming? I don't know. So those types of things, I always make sure to go see. That's why I was like, I need to figure out how to go see the official release party of a Showgirl within these next couple days. Because I don't know if it's ever going to be streaming. I also do love seeing the summer blockbusters. Like those really are so good in the theater. Like the Jurassic Park movies. I mean, there's some nuance with like what your review of the latest Jurassic Park movies might be. But Jurassic Park movies in general are a great example of this. Or Mission Impossible. Like it's such a special, epic, big experience and adventure. And that's really cool. They also have been trying, I think, to recreate the same feeling with the Harry Potter movies. Like every year around September, because of Back to Hogwarts, they are re-releasing the movies, at least one or two of them in the theaters, where they're for a particular time frame, they're going to be available in the theaters again. And those movies are really fun, especially they do like the last two. They'll do Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. Me and my husband actually went to see a screening that had a double feature of both. Those last two movies are so action-packed. They're amazing to see in a theater. So it's movies like those that I run to. Like the Harry Potter movies are definitely one I make sure I saw in a theater. Absolutely. Jurassic Park is another film franchise that I tend to try to make sure I can see in the theater if I can. So it's that type of idea, right? And we all have different types of genres in movies that we gravitate towards. So that's an idea that you kind of have to think about what you like and what you want. And then that kind of helps you decide and looking at the particular movies. So that's how I would answer that question and how I determine what ones I try to prioritize seeing in the theater. And I would love to hear some of the movies that you guys have prioritized seeing in the theater. Like is there any film franchises or types of movies that you see and you're like, oh, I have to see that before it's out of the theater. I have to see this in the theater. I would love to hear it. So leave me a comment. Before we go on to the next topic, I do want to take just a minute to talk about something really, really exciting. Recently, I have launched membership plans on my website, on Butterfly Entertainment. And each tier of membership gets you different perks. We have all the way from getting some content early, like getting podcast episodes early, all the way up to getting producer credit on projects, new films, new shows, things like that. And in the middle, you have opportunities for extra content, mental health podcast episodes, Mental Mondays are back, and discounts on our Turner Syndrome awareness merch. So I will put a link in the show notes. Please head to butterflyentertainment.online. I will also put that link in the show notes to check out our membership plans. They are now open. And the first Mental Monday podcast episode, talking all about mental health every Monday, is available. So if you subscribe before this coming Monday, you will get that episode and be ready to get the next episode when it drops. So head to the link in the description, and I hope you enjoy. There's one more aspect of talking about movie theaters I want to hit on for this episode, and that is the trend we're seeing right now with what movies are getting people out to the theaters. There's two specific things I want to talk about within this that I think are doing really well getting people to the movie theaters. The first one I've kind of basically already mentioned, which is experiences, right? Like the official release party of a showgirl, like the Eras Tour. It's a bigger experience beyond just watching a movie. So you have the Harry Potter reruns, where they're putting them back in theaters. That feels like an experience. It's also nostalgia, but that's a different thing. Experiences are going to be, and have been for, I think, a little bit, bigger things that bring more people. And I would not be surprised if theaters start trying to intentionally build this idea into things more. Whether it's within the theater environment itself or just working with studios to create those experiences so that it is a bigger incentive and a bigger deal to actually go to the theater. The other thing that has really been getting people out to the theaters, and we see it in the trends, is horror movies. Like, not only is there more horror movies being made, which we could talk about if it's getting a little too much, but not only are there a ton more horror movies being made in general, but it also is what's actually getting people to the theater. Think Megan, where the TikTok dance went viral. And that type of experience has been what's been pulling people in. All the Blumhouse movies do really well typically. And I think not only is horror a popular genre right now. But it is, I believe, the genre that's pulling the biggest numbers cinema-wise. Like, where they're actually getting people to come out to the theaters. An interesting flip started occurring where it's taken more to get people to do that now. When movies were first being made, nobody had any way of watching it otherwise, so everybody was going to the theater because you couldn't see movies elsewhere. It wasn't possible yet. Technology hadn't happened. Now, we have so much technology to watch content and movies and all of that you're almost over-flooded with it, and you don't have to worry whether you're going to be able to see it or not. And so you can decide, like, well, I'll see it when I see it, and just watch it at home. And so horror creates a specific experience in the theater that gets people to come out for it. So it kind of has it more built in. And outside of that, I do think we will see theaters purposely trying to make those experiences happen so that they can incentivize people and get more people coming out to the theaters. I think that'll be big. So that is what I wanted to talk about theaters. You guys know I'm huge on theaters. If you've been watching and paying attention, I'm big on movie theaters. I love going to the movies. Always have, always will. So I would love to hear what you enjoy going to the theater for. If there's like a particular favorite theater you have that you like, or different aspects of going to the theater that you enjoy. And if there's a particular movie you saw in the theater that really sticks out to you, like the memory of going to the movie theater for that movie is just really a standout in your mind, I would love to hear it. Probably mine would be the first Harry Potter movie. Because it wasn't just going to the theater, we actually went to a dome theater, and it was really cool. Lastly, I did want to share a couple of things I've been watching lately. So I am in the more spooky horror genre right now, as I do this close to Halloween. So I have been watching some of the horror movies that I shared about in the last episode. But also Netflix has been dropping some interesting new things. Like there's True Haunting, which is a kind of mix between documentary and reenactment. Like it's really interesting about different hauntings. And there's also the documentary The Perfect Neighbor that just hit Netflix that, oh my gosh, is crazy. So that's what I've been watching. Lots of things like that. And if you have anything particular you've been watching that you've really enjoyed, I would love to hear it. I'd love to find new suggestions. So that is the episode for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave your thoughts, comments, ideas in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye! The Studio Sessions is a Butterfly Entertainment production. You can keep up with all of our podcasts, YouTube videos, films, and other projects on our Instagram page. We are at Butterfly Entertainment Group. Thanks for listening.